We're live.
Yep.
Cool. Thought they should have taken these a while ago.
Would you mind putting this up in the back?
Yeah. So, I think you've done this many times before. Obviously, folks have super chat questions. We want to prioritize those who show love to us. We also want to answer any questions related to the upcoming leadership conference, merch, consultations, things like that. And otherwise, I'll just be talking through some thoughts that I have. You ready to rock and roll?
Yep.
Cool. So, I talk a lot about habits because your habits are what carry you through in all times, in hard times, in good times. Because, for example, when I don't feel motivated to exercise, I still go to the gym. Why? Because it's all I know. I've been doing it so long that it's just second nature. Now, granted, sometimes I'll go in there and I'm just going through the motions. I'm not going as hard as I usually would. But the key is I still got in there. I still broke a sweat, which means that my lows are never that low because of good habits. Now, when people experience challenges in life, the first thing to break down are their good habits. That's why you have to really cement in your good habits. Repetition. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about leadership because obviously we have our leadership conference coming up and I want everyone to be there. Well, not everyone who can get a ticket. There's not a lot left. But if you haven't gotten your ticket, go to thesasset.com/conference. And we're limiting it to no more than 5 tickets per person because we've had people purchasing 8 tickets, 10 tickets. So we don't want one person to have all the tickets just for their family. I was talking on a consultation to a gentleman recently, and he told me that his ex-girlfriend said he needed to step up and be a man and be a leader. And that's a reasonable expectation of a woman. In fact, that's an expectation every man should have of himself, which is to be a leader. Now the question is, what are the behaviors that show your leadership ability? Well, one of them is having a plan. No one can follow you if you don't have a plan. He gave me the example that his ex-girlfriend said to him, "Oh, hey, John, why don't you have a recommendation for a date? Why are you always asking me where I want to go, what time I want to go somewhere, which date?" So what she's essentially saying is you need a plan. Our recommendation to him was the following. And this applies not only to dating, but to life in general. Now, you might modify your plan or give someone options, but you should always have a baseline plan. So what he should have said is, "Hey, love, are you free this Friday, 8 p.m.? I want to take you to a Jamaican restaurant. You don't like jerk chicken? We can pick something else. What do you think?" You see, that shows you have a plan. And if she needs to modify the schedule or location, then she can do that. The same thing is true in business, or if you're founding an organization. When I created a fraternity in university, which you can read about in the Black Box, my book available on Amazon, or assassin.com/blackbox/the Black Box. What you found out is that when I created that fraternity, when it was just words, no one really wanted to join. When they saw that I had a detailed written out plan, and they saw I was putting it into action, and they also observed that people were coming into the organization who were raising money for it, they saw that there was a plan. Anyone can follow a leader that has a plan and is executing on it. That's not only females, that's also other men. So the difference is that you think things out, you have a plan, and you're an executor of your word. That's the basics in leadership. People have any questions?
Someone asked what your boxing record was. That's it.
Let me take a look, see where we're at.
height weight right here.
It's getting windy, hard to hear. When we came up here, it did get windier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that has anything to do with the angle that you're at.
Well, we're in a wide open space where before the building was blocking it.
Let's see, let's see. So you said we should move down
I
there?
think we should move down there.
Okay, let's do that. Another thing I want to point out to everyone watching, whether you're one of the saints or you are a non-believer, someone unfamiliar with my work, you guys need to start using your brain before you speak. It's a major quality of a mature man. You speak from wisdom and knowledge rather than emotion and ignorance. For example, a lot of internet nerds, and I'm even a little anxious about calling you guys nerds because nerds are generally thought to be smart. Half of you guys are idiots. And this is why I say that. People will say, oh, it's not alpha to attack other people. First off, I never said I was an alpha. I think that's a goofy internet term. I never see real men in the real world using this terminology. But more importantly, if the alpha male is defined as the one who has taken dominion over the community or dominance over all the other males and females in their influence, surely they have attacked others. Surely they have caught in a few bodies, you dig? Surely they are the grimiest, roughest, most savage one, and also the most supporting one, the one who takes care of the community. But you're clearly an imbecile that doesn't understand the concept of alpha male if you're talking about it's not alpha to attack other men. No, actually it's extremely alpha. It's damn near the definition of alpha to be ready to knock someone's helmet off. That's number one. Moreover, for you internet nerds, I need to find a better weirdo. For you internet weirdos, um, I also want you to understand that a lot of the guys you're looking at on here, they used to be overweight. They've reinvented themselves. They used to be nerds in school. They've created a new fake identity. I'm nothing like these guys. When they were a kid, maybe they wanted to be like Mike. I wanted to be like Suge Knight. You dig? I'm from LA. I grew up among wolves. So when you guys are on here talking crazy, I tag where I'm at. I'm in Las Vegas. You dig? You can see the places that I live. You can see the places that I go. You want to find me, catch me at the Wynn. You dig? I'm always there like every weekend in a suite. So if you want to find me, I'm out here. And someone said, Marquett, why would you invite this kind of behavior? Huh. Because I'm wise, you see. Number one, you guys read the 48 laws of power and all these different things, and some of these texts are misguided. What you find is that if you have an iron fist, at the end of the day, most people don't want the iron fist. Trust me. How do I know? I lived 30 years this way, not scared at all. I lived 30 years given that iron fist every time anybody wanted it. And guess what? If you read the black box, you'll see that in all of my years, maybe only 3 people ever really wanted that iron fist. And they got it every time. So I'm still handing out these Scooby snacks, you dig? And it's not because I'm a boxer. I was doing it before I was into boxing. I love it. If you like it, I love it. So I say that to say, if you guys want to call yourself an alpha male, that's fantastic. But don't think that an alpha male is what you define it as, because a lot of you guys are so sweet. And that's why women don't want half of these internet weirdos, is because you guys are too soft. They can't differentiate them from you, right? Because you're just as feminine as they are. And hey, I hate to have to deliver that bitter truth, but hey, sometimes we need a little bit of the truth. And that's what I'm here for. So, love, you're
Dan Gorgeous donated. He said, Savage, catch me whenever and wherever. Facts.
absolutely. And the thing that a lot of people, and I appreciate that, gorgeous, for the super chat as well. And what people don't realize is that, man, I never expected to live this long. I've already done everything on my bucket list. I don't have any kids. You take me out. I'm like, hey, why not? Why not? So absolutely. And that's another thing. I love this term savage, because you hear people calling themselves a savage and they're not savage. That's what I find funny. You know, like everyone's a savage. Oh, you're a beast. Are you really? Probably not. I think I know a few female MMA fighters that'll clean up a half of you cats anyways. You guys ain't savage. And that's why I really want you to look and see if you can figure out what the genuine article is. A lot of what I'm doing is trying to calibrate your thinking and mentality so that you can look in the mirror honestly, and also so you can look out at the world and understand the world accurately. I even saw one guy, and we're going live right now just to talk a little bit reckless, you dig, have a little bit of fun. But I saw one guy on the internet. I can't remember his name, and guess what? Just like The Rock told you, his name doesn't matter. But there was one internet nerd, and would you believe this guy?
Weirdo, weirdo.
Right, internet weirdo. Good point. I appreciate it. There's this one internet weirdo, and this guy he called himself doing a critique video of the Saint and the Sinner, which that's fine. I appreciate that. Please do critique. Now, his IQ was not high enough to even understand the concepts that I'm forwarding, so undoubtedly he can't give a proper critique of someone who's giving superior knowledge, but whatever. He had tagged in his video that he was doing the critique from Argentina, and then he had another video tagged that he was in some other country. And Bridget and I are looking at the video like this guy's literally lying because he's in the same hotel lobby in both videos, which are claiming to be in different countries. Now think about how corny that is. Now when you see me and I say I'm in China, you can tell I'm in China because the Chinese government is there hosting me and there's a bunch of Chinese people around and all the signs are in Mandarin. When I say I'm in Brazil, you can tell I'm in Brazil because you can see the signs are in Portuguese. And I can go on and on. When I say I'm in Ethiopia, you can see the signs are in Amharic. And you've seen me in like what, 15, 20 different countries? That's really the lifestyle. And we're continuing the lifestyle even during this pandemic because guess what? Real people do real things. Real people do real things. And a lot of people say they are fill in the blank, but their habits don't add up to who they say they are. Your habits represent you. And that's why you guys, in some cases, are not getting the respect you want because you don't have the habits. People don't believe you. And one thing I can tell you with a lot of these goofballs hopping in the comment section, particularly the ones that are coming from a certain YouTuber, I find it funny because they're following charlatans and then they get mad at me because I have to throw a few shots at their hero. Well, they say, why is it black people can't support each other? Like, why is this all the black people tearing each other down as crabs in a bucket? Let me give you some game. And this is real game. It turns out, whether you're Chinese, white, black, what have you, there's no organization called Black People that's going to support you. There's not. In fact, if you use your common sense and you're honest and you think about, the challenges you may have had or people who may have done you wrong, some of them are black. Think about people who may have supported you, some of them are black. People who may have done you wrong, some white. People who helped you, some white. There's no organization called black people. There's no organization called white people or Chinese people. Nothing wrong with loving yourself and having pride, but don't be goofy and say stupid things like, white people don't tear each other down like this. That's not true. Did you not observe the presidential election? Did you not observe white people for Trump and white people for Biden going at each other's throats? Don't lie to yourself, folks. Like, you have to be able to engage in reality to even become a man. When you're engaging in fantasy, you're a child. When you can't handle the truth at a certain level, that's not masculine. Masculine men, they like to deal with the truth, you dig? I also want to point out another thing to you guys. Now check this out. I don't just say things, I really live it, and I want you to live it too. When I tell you about hustling, like, I'm wearing my own hoodie, the Saint and the Sinner. I'm wearing my own shorts, the Saint and the Sinner. I'm wearing my own boxing shoes that I produce. I'm wearing my own hand wraps under these boxing gloves that also say the Saint and the Sinner. When I tell you about capitalism, I'm serious about it because you can complain about the way things are set up and there's inequality, or you can get to work hustling. What I encourage you to do is get to work hustling instead of complaining, right? And further, I give you the clues on how to do it. I just put out a video on how to start a business. And if you come to the conference January 30th and 31st, I'm going to give you the details on how to go from idea to a product, how to get your product mass produced in China at low cost, how to retail your product in a profitable way on Amazon, and we're gonna go from there. Like those are gonna be keys that can change your whole life and build you a fortune over time. There's no easy fixes, but if you come to the conference, you get to network with people who also like to hustle. You get to make great contacts, have a good time, but also learn about this bread, learn capitalism.
Okay, we have Bryce Robertson said, "What's the site to purchase the windbreaker? It's tough." And then Ray the Hawk said, "Where can I get the merch?"
Got you. So one thing I have to be honest with you, when I do a run of anything, of any merch, I don't redo the run. So we did one run of this hoodie, never to be done again. One run of the shorts, never to be done again. And often you're like, I didn't hear about that. It's because I release it exclusive on patreon.com and theassassin.com. And when the members buy it, they often buy it out because I only will run 100 units. So currently the only things we have units of, and remember, if you don't get it now, you may never be able to get it. We have 4 patches left with like an iron-on, sew-on patch. There's only 4, there are 4 or 5 left.
4 left.
There are literally only 4 of those left.
They sold fast.
They sold very fast. We also have the Satan Center, the Assassin hat. Those we only have 10 on hand, right?
Yes.
Only got 10 of them. So
9.
9, I'm sorry. So you better get that ASAP. And then we have the Satan Center shirts, which are gonna go hella quick because people at the conference want their shirt. So those you can all order at theassassin, TheSassin.com/merch, MERCH, or go to theassassin.com, click the merchandise link. Remember, once those are gone, we don't do a second run of anything. Because really, I only produce the things that I want, and I create some extra units for the Saints because it's love. But I don't want to be like a clothes maker. I build my businesses in technology, so I'm not trying to become a clothing maker.
Okay, and then 2310 Sammy said link to the conference, and then he asked, is it online or in person?
The conference is in person.
In Las Vegas.
In person in Las Vegas and Hotopia is going to be a beautiful experience. I cannot wait. In fact, I'm going to do a poll soon because we have some really cool things. Like we even have a Jabrizzi Magic who has over like 2-3 million followers. Is a famous magician. He's gonna come through and bless us with a show. I'm trying to figure out, do we want to do the show on Saturday or Sunday? I don't know. I'm thinking maybe Sunday because we got so much stuff Saturday, who knows? But there'll be a lot going on. It's in person, so get your tickets. I don't think I want to sell online tickets because I don't want to encourage people to continue being on their computer screens. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm a businessman. I'm not on YouTube to be a YouTuber. I'm on YouTube to give you game so you can be successful because I care. So I'm not trying to do an online conference. It's an in-person conference. Get your ticket at theassassin.com/conference.
Okay, and then you have a couple donations. Miguel, the comedian, said, how do I stay motivated for my eBay business after my full-time job? I'm too tired.
Then you don't really want it, bruh. You don't really want it if you're too tired, man. You ain't heard that Kevin Gates, I don't get tired? Let me tell you this. You might not be able to do everything, but you can do something. And what I mean by that is if you know you're going to be exhausted after your 8-hour workday or however many hours you work in a day, then what you need to do is say, okay, I'm not gonna compromise on 10 minutes. Every single day when I wake up, I'm gonna do 10 minutes on my business, I'm gonna go to my 9 to 5, and then do 10 minutes once I get off. That's 20 minutes a day working on your businesses, but trip out on this, family. How is it you could work 8 hours for somebody else, but you won't work 1 hour for your damn self? Because at the end of the day, man, they don't love you like I love you, and they don't love you like you love yourself. So if they need to lay off, trust me, you'll have to get shit canned and you gotta go home. So always invest that time for yourself so you can make extra money and save money so one day your money can save you. And that motivation, man, that got to come from your goals. When you got big goals, you say, hey, man, I want to be able to take care of 2 women, or I want to be able to have a good life for my children, or I want to be able to roll out and pull up in like an exotic, beautiful car. Like whatever that is, you got to keep that front of mind. And also, you got to get your health together, man. You ain't going to feel tired when you're in perfect condition, family.
Okay, Lee E donated. He said, for your Fiji water, stop listening to false prophets. I can read between the likes and the saints is right. Oh, and he said lines. He corrected himself. He can read between the lines and the saint is right.
Hey, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And that's just, he's speaking in metaphors, which is really a representation of the ability to have enough money to make choices, right? Your ass can drink that 99-cent Niagara water, or you can drink that $5 Fiji water, right? And we all trying to get to that Fiji water level. Whether you actually buy that brand or not, the question is, can you afford it? And that's what we're trying to get you to. But remember, wealth, financial wealth is not the end all be all. It's all about spiritual wealth. Because if you base your life on finances, you'll always be unstable and never have security. If you base your life on spirituality, you'll always be stable. You'll always have emotional strength. And that's really what you want.
Okay, we have Sound said, can a brother still be an alpha and not win a three-piece from Quet? Ha, no Scooby snacks for me.
Right, absolutely. There are different ways to do everything. At the end of the day, the alpha is the one who has the power in the community, right? It's, sometimes it's the biggest guy, sometimes it's the most vicious guy. Sometimes it's the guy that takes care of everybody. It's the most generous guy. But all I'm saying is a lot of these nerds on the internet,
Weirdos.
yeah, right. A lot of these weirdos on the internet, they're talking reckless, or they're saying, that's not alpha. You can't talk about Coach Pink Pill like that. You can't talk about Corey Wayne like that. Or they're like, hey baby, don't talk about Kevin Samuels, like these weirdos. And I'm just like, how that's not alpha. Well, last thing I checked, the alpha is the top dog. He do what he want. Last time I checked. So it's like these guys are really feminine. That's why they have so much trouble with women, is because they are women. And women are not looking for other women unless they're lesbians. So all I'm saying is man up, little buddy. And, man up or shut up, because, it's like kill me or shut up. That's where I come from. It's like when you show up and you see me in real life, bruh, if you got a problem, just say, Quet, I got a problem. Bruh, I'm moving tables, you hear me? I'm rolling sleeves up. We ain't got to talk about it. But when you hop in my comments, hop in there with respect. That's all I'm saying to you nerds. It's like, talk to me online like you talk to me in person. Why? Because as a man, even if you have a disagreement, you have to comport yourself in an honorable way. Because ironically, I can't tell you how many people I done caught slipping in my life. Don't think you exempt from contempt. Have your real photo up and your real legal name like I do.
Okay, the next couple of things are donations also. Ahmed Khan says love and respect.
Ahmed, thank you. Appreciate it, Saint. I'll see Ahmed at the conference. He's going to be there.
Chris Eatman said, should I get a course on e-commerce or do my own research if I want to start an online business?
You should come to the conference. It depends on what kind of business you're talking about. Are you selling digital goods? Are you selling hardware? Are you selling clothing? Those are all major questions. But at the end of the day, online courses are very difficult to learn from. I know. I was in the higher ed industry. I know the pass rate on online courses. It's terribly low. In fact, the pass rate on in-person courses isn't even 50%. So when you come to this conference, you get to actually be among other people, socialize, network, learn in community. It's hard to gather things sitting on your butt at home in front of a computer. It's boring. It's the worst part of school. And so come to this conference and get this game. You dig?
Mr. Highway donated. He said, be humble enough to recognize when someone is superior to you, but you should idolize no one. If I learn from someone, I treat them as a sensei.
That's true wisdom, because being humble, you can never go wrong there. I want you to do something that's paradoxical, which is to be highly confident and humble at the same time. Mr. Highway sharing, very meaningful thoughts. Especially when you have a good teacher, you have to honor that person, particularly because a good teacher is someone who's chosen to share invaluable things, which are ideas. You see, a good teacher could say, hey, I'm going to keep all this to myself. Because at the end of the day, if I teach you how to make money and produce things in China and mass produce stuff, that's competition for me, isn't it? Right? So it's love for me to give out that knowledge. Bridget was telling me earlier about a particular YouTuber. She was like, why are you giving him a platform? Why are you shouting out all these people? Why are you letting people speak at the conference? Like, what's the meaning of that? Will that help you, Marquett? I'm like, no, it won't. But it'll help them. And the reason we have the assassin is because we are here to help one another. We want to be good to good people. So that's right. You have a good sensei, show them respect. And that's why I always appreciate when people pull up to live sessions and they always say, peace to Marquett and peace to the saints. Always recognize hierarchy, because as a man, when you have children, you want your children to look up to you with respect. When you have a woman, you want your old lady to look up to you with respect. When you're in a hierarchical situation, you're a student, you refer to your teacher as Mr. Smith or Mr. So-and-so. Or you're a student of the fight game, you refer to your master as sensei, what have you. But we always have to understand hierarchy because it's the natural order of things. And if you're going to be a man, you're going to be in a position of power or leadership. So you also have to understand the follower position when you're not in the power of leadership. I walk into many environments, I'm not always the leader in that environment. I know how to play the appropriate position.
Okay, Chris had asked the question about the e-commerce course. He said he has his ticket. He'll be at the conference.
Okay, so then do this, Chris. Now shout out to all the saints pulling up to the conference. He's a real one. Do this. Come to the conference, get all this knowledge you're about to get at the conference, and then if there are gaps, you will know very acutely what they are. If there are gaps in your knowledge, then you can take an e-commerce course that's specific for what you need to learn, right? Now, before you can engage in e-commerce, if you're not doing digital products, you're going to be doing physical products. You really want to mass produce them if you want to scale a big business, and that's really where I specialize. That's what we're going to be talking about a lot.
Okay, another donation. T. Turner said, salute King to you, King. Always appreciate them gems you drop. Definitely want to attend that conference.
Appreciate it, Saint. Thank you very much.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, please.
Moneymaker said, what are we going to do in the conference? I got a ticket. I'm going to be honest, I'm not really a businessman, but I bought it to network. And then he also said, are there any hotels around the area that got weight rooms?
Most of the hotels have a gym. One thing the council and I are talking about right now is having an optional workout after the end of the conference on Sunday, or maybe even Monday morning. We'll finalize that. Within the next couple of days, I'm going to post the official schedule online. Number one, everyone should consider themselves a businessman. Everyone has to think like a businessman. So definitely amend that. But the whole conference is not about business. We got 2 sessions on money and finance and entrepreneurship, 2 sessions. The other sessions are about what does it mean to be a leader? How do you lead a woman? How do you influence a woman? We got social activities like cold approaches on Saturday night. We got magic shows. We got formal dinner. We got ceremonies. We got all kinds of things. So it'll be a great time, and the networking will be bar none because you'll be among saints who have the same values as you. It'll be a real good time.
Someone asked if I'm skipping comments. I read the super chats first.
Right. And she's not skipping comments. She's taking serious the people who take themselves serious, right? And what I mean by that is, me, I've given a lot of free time. I have over 150 videos that are free of cost. You could go through those and transform your whole life. In addition to that, you can check and see I did a live session that was 5 hours long. If I was working at minimum wage, which is like $8, that would be 5 times 8, that's 40 bucks. I don't even think I made that in super chat. So I freely give up my time when I have it. The reason she goes to the super chatted questions is because I can't stay on for hours answering every single question, just out of respect to my time. Today, for example, I got to get my workout in. We have a social event we have to go to, and then I have to fly out of the country. It's a busy day. So she's taking seriously the people who say I can send 50 cents to ask my question, because that just shows that they want the question answered. So she's prioritizing that. I hope that answers your question, Saint.
And then we have Wise Thinker said, is the ticket still available? And then someone else asked, how much are the tickets?
The tickets are still available. They're at thesassin.com/conference. And the tickets are $269, which is the cheapest conference ticket you will ever find. If you Google average price of a conference, you'll see that these are extremely cheap tickets. And I made them cheap because I want it to be accessible for people. If you don't want to pay taxes or fees or anything like that, you can just Cash App $Marquett, MARQUETT. And then, so just cash at me and then leave your email address and then we'll follow up with you. Make sure you're all set. Got all the questions hit?
All the super chats are hit.
Okay, fantastic. You know, I was realizing a lot of times when I throw these punches and then I duck out here, I need to hit him with that body shot.
Yeah.
That hook to the body.
Wise Thinker is the one that asked about the conference. He said, I got the money to go to the conference, but plane ticket to Las Vegas, I never been. I'm 18.
Okay, well, I don't want to put his business out there in terms of which city you're coming from, but Las Vegas is an ideal destination for conferences because the lowest cost flights are to Las Vegas because it's a bit of a hub because people come from around the world for the Las Vegas Strip. So the flights are pretty low cost. If you're 18, I tell you what, if you get your conference tickets, we can figure out a way to help you out with your hotel costs. So, Bridget, is that a
That's reasonable.
Reasonable thing for
Yeah.
me to do? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that for you. So you get your flight and your ticket, and then we'll get your hotel.
He just said, bro, thank you.
Absolutely. And obviously, if you need to connect us with your parents to make sure that you're safe, we're happy to take care of communicate.
Do you want to give him my email so he can email me? Because we don't even know his name.
You know what? If you go to theassassin.com and you click contact, you can just submit. You click contact, select conference, and then just say what you got to say. Importantly, on theassassin.com, do not go to contact and ask me to do a collaboration or an interview or try to sell me anything or ask me to invest. I just don't have that kind of time.
You had someone else say I'm 19 that also asked questions about the conference.
Yeah, if you're 18, 19, let me know. I think I'll be able to, pay to cover your hotel, and which is me trying to meet you halfway, because, I understand the drive to be a part of things, and I understand that you might not be able to cover the flight and the ticket and the hotel, so I'll cover your hotel costs.
The 19-year-old said my mom is scared. She doesn't want me to travel by myself.
That's fair. Now, I'm assuming your father's not in your life if you're giving me the word of your mother. And if you need your mother to have a conversation with me, we can set that conversation up and we can make sure that you're taken care of by a motherly woman when you get here. But undoubtedly, you will have to take risk in life, and being a 19-year-old man, you're fully grown, bro. You're not about to come out here and get molested or anything, so she's gonna have to take that titty out your mouth, my brother. But I'd be happy to have a conversation with her if you just reach out to contact at theassassin.com.
Lee E. donated again. He said, how did you start your boxing journey? I am thinking about starting, but hard, especially with gyms closed. I am doing 3-mile jogs.
You know what? I started in Puerto Rico, in Cataño, which is a super grimy neighborhood. And I was under Ivan Calderon, who was like a featherweight champion in his day. Great trainer, multi-millionaire still. And that's where I started, man. And he took good care of me. So it's never too late to start. Running is a great, warm up. And, make sure that you really are careful about your form, because boxing is about muscle memory. That's why Nate Robinson got knocked the fuck out like that, because he didn't have muscle memory. Jake Paul, whatever that kid's name is, he threw a combination. When you throw a combination like that, that's not because you decided to throw it. That's because you practiced it a million times. And so when you pop back like this, you pop back, boom. Like that's your muscle. Like you're not deciding to throw that punch. So it's all about muscle memory, but you want your muscles to remember the proper form. The reason Nate Robinson can't box very well is because he's going on instinct, not muscle memory. So for example, in boxing, if you want to throw the right hand, which is your power punch, from a traditional stance, you throw it from here, you stick it out, boom, straight, right? You don't, but your instinct as a human being who's untrained, when you want to throw your power punch, what do? You pull it back and then throw it. You pull it back because you're trying to get leverage to throw it hard. But a proper boxer doesn't ever pull it back. You shoot it straight because it's faster, and speed kills. And that's why Nate Robinson was too slow. He had no footwork, no head movement, and he was tired, right? He was tired before the goddamn thing started. And why did he get tired? Exhausted himself mentally because he's not battle tested. Boxing is a vicious sport that tolls on the mind, body, and spirit. And if you haven't been practicing in the right way, which he clearly hadn't, you're not going to be successful. You can be athletic all you want. It's a game of heart. So I highly recommend you try it.
Bryce Robertson said possibility of a second conference.
You know, Bryce, one thing I've learned is that the future is uncertain. It takes a lot out of me because I'm just one man. And if I'm being honest with you, this is our conference. It's not just my conference. It's for the Assassin. So it's not just me putting it together, but at the end of the day, I am just one man. And this is taking a lot of my time, a lot of my resources, because the ticket is so cheap, $269. I got to put my own personal money in just to make it happen. So I am not going to say that there will be a second conference because I don't want to think that far into the future. Let's see how this one feels. I think it'll feel great. And let's see if after that I'll even want to do conferences. As you probably saw in one of our live sessions, you know, we had some of the Saints come to Las Vegas. I invited them to my suite at the Wynn. We had a good time, went out to dinner. It was a great time. And I'm like, maybe I should just do small gatherings like that. Who knows? But I'm not looking into the future that far.
Moneymakers, he said his mom wants him to go. She's just scared because of COVID. And then he asked, are you going to teach them how to box in the conference? He would love to learn some moves.
No, I don't want to take on that level of liability. And, you know, just as was said earlier, you get a proper sensei, you got to show them respect. We're in Las Vegas, which is the boxing capital of the whole world. When there's a mega fight, it happens in Las Vegas. So there are certainly better boxing trainers than Marquett Burton. And if I could, I'd try to bring one of them out. But that can be something that I might one day do. But in this conference, no boxing, no boxing.
Okay, Booby Low said, I'm late. Where can I buy a ticket?
Fortunately, you're not too late. So that's a blessing.
I think he's late to the live, he means.
Oh, I see. Gotcha. Thank you. You can get a ticket from thesassin.com/conference.
Okay, Black Ocean just donated. He said, who would win in a fight between you and Jake Paul?
You know, and let me tell you this is hugely important. This is what differentiates boxing from basketball and football and golf and all this other stuff, track, all this stuff. Boxing, everything looks easy from the outside. When you're not in the ring, it looks hella easy. So in boxing, you learn not to speak up on people. Now, if he said, Marquette, I want them hands, well, I'd have to give him those hands. But boxing has weight classes. Number one, Jake Paul, I don't think we're even in the same weight class. My last fight was at like, what, 165?
160. Yeah, 3, I think, yeah.
163. So my last fight was at 163. I know Jake, or his brother Logan Paul, I think is at like 189. So I'm assuming he's in a similar weight class. So he's like 1 to 2 weight classes above me. But do I think I'd take him out? Yeah, I think I'd probably just wear him out the first 3 rounds, exhaust him, and then I'd beat the living daylights out of him in the later rounds. You know, I just outsmart him the first couple rounds, make him blow his load, throw a lot of shots, make him miss a lot of shots, let him hit the body, you know, feel like he's doing something, counter punch him just to frustrate him. And then I try to kill him in the last couple rounds, you know, like real brutal stuff. But it wouldn't be a quick knockout. I would like really brutalize him over the long term so that, you know, the next couple of days for him are extremely painful. That's what I would do.
Okay. Smile Nial said you had to be 18, right, to go to the conference?
No.
Okay. There's a donation from Marcus. He didn't say anything, just donate it.
Appreciate it, Marcus.
Cameron donated and said, how do you manage your time throughout the day? And do you ever take notice of what's going on in the U.S. with the elections and politics in general?
I do take notice of the election for entertainment purposes. That's about it. However, I will say that the Assassin must take a greater role in politics. And that's why we're centering our population in Las Vegas. One, because there's a lot of money here, so there's a lot of influence to be had. and two, it's a dry climate, it's reasonably affordable, and so this is where we want to build our headquarters. And we will take a lot of influence in politics because the laws in the country are quite wicked. In terms of the presidential election, it's mostly entertainment, because realistically, in a country of 300 million, is Biden the most qualified? Is he even anywhere near the most qualified? No, he's not. So it's just entertainment for me.
You have the ladies on here. Maria, thank you. And then someone asked.
We back cracking?
I think so.
If someone can confirm that cracking, by the way, I see that Preston donated.
Yep.
Appreciate that, P. P is on the Saints count.
He said he's going to watch it after work. Who's your favorite fighter in boxing, and what did you learn about yourself from the most difficult opponent? Thank you for the game, Saint.
Absolutely. Who said that?
Preston, that was from a donation.
Pete, my favorite boxer is Floyd Mayweather. The reason is because he's a businessman. You can be the best boxer or you can be the wealthiest boxer. He went for the latter. And what you also learn from Mayweather is he's a tactician. He fights with his mind. Most fighters are trying to fight with their hands. He fights with his feet. So he's always asking what is on the other side. You dig? When everyone else is trying to fight with their hands, he's fighting with his feet. When everyone else is trying to win with their body, he's winning with his mind. And lastly, this is a brutal sport. When you can get outside of this sport with all of your faculties intact, you've won. The great Muhammad Ali, he suffered in the sport. You don't want to go that route. That's not the form of greatness that you want. Even Mike Tyson, you hear his speech, it has a slur. That's because the brain has been adversely affected. So Mayweather by far, any day, and he's still getting big bags of money from the fight game. So he's my favorite.
Apparently, Cameron, sorry, Mr. Super Chat, he said, how do you manage your time throughout the day?
Yeah, that's the one you said when things were reconnected.
Yeah.
How do I manage my time? I create a list of priorities. I like to do that before I go to bed. What needs to get done? And I go through 3 versions of the list. The first version, I write down everything. The second version, I cross off the things that I don't have to do, meaning if it doesn't get done, no one suffers. Then I go through the list a third time and say, what things can someone else do? What things can my lady do? What things can assistants do? What things can volunteers do? And then I pass off those tasks. Once I have the final list, then I go to bed. Slide over this way. Then I go to bed. That percolates through the subconscious. I wake up ready to go because I wake up with meaning and mission. Then I wake up, look at that list, and I get to work on it. But I prioritize it. Which things are most important to get done first? And I get to work. That's how I do it. I don't waste time on things that are unimportant. Have you ever known me to play video games in life?
Not once in life.
Never.
We also don't watch TV or movies really either.
Yeah, none of that. I don't waste time.
Maria Pierre said, what do you think about doing business in Morocco, and what was your experience like there?
You know what? I actually have a good business partner in Morocco. His name is Mej. Very intelligent, honorable man, speaks English, French, Arabic. Great business guy. Even has an MBA that he got in Philadelphia. So I enjoy the country of Morocco. I love Moroccans. And I think it's a fine place to do business, especially if you're going to do business in leather, textiles, shoes. I think those are great products that Morocco exports. They also export sardines, which I love, as you know. So it seems like a decent idea. Obviously, we might need to dig more into that. If you need a consultation, schedule one.
Matthew S. donated. He didn't say anything, just paid his tuition to you.
Appreciate it, Matthew. We all caught up on those questions?
On Super Chats, yeah.
That's nice. Saints, the battery is getting low, and I got to get a little bit of sparring in. I'm just getting loose for a little bit of sparring. So if you have your Super Chats.
One more Super Chat. Black Ocean said, do you think Floyd is making a mistake fighting Logan Paul this February?
I think that it would be foolish of us to think he's making a mistake, in as much as the man has decades in the business. He has decades analyzing fighters. My concern is this. When you look in the heavyweight category or the cruiserweight category, you have men that are so big, they pop you with a stiff one, well, you might go tonight. You might go to sleep. But here's the thing, and this is why I'm always telling you guys, a trained fighter is nothing to play with. Because a female boxer who's a trained boxer, she can throw a harder punch than 99.9% of you guys on this live session. Not because she's stronger, but because of the technique of how to throw a punch. I don't think Logan Paul has this technique so good that he can leverage that 200 or so pounds that he has behind him. I think that's what Floyd is estimating. But here's the thing, I'm a pretty big guy. You heard me? I'm much bigger than Floyd. Logan Paul's even bigger than I am. I'm not even in his weight class. So Floyd is going to have a 50-pound gap. 50 pounds, that's a lot. Beyond 50 pounds is going to be a huge reach distance issue, and it's going to be an issue of height. But here's the thing, Floyd Mayweather fights with IQ, and he's a counterpuncher anyways. So if the guy has reach, he's going to come in aggressive because he's bigger. He feels confident, right? So he's coming in, working his jab. Floyd's going to take the jab on the shoulder, counter him here, take the jab on the shoulder, counter him to the body, get out of the way, and he's going to let Logan Paul chase him around the ring for 5 rounds. And then when Logan Paul gets to that 5th round, he's going to realize, damn, this is hard work. I'm tired. And as he starts breaking down, he's going to turn into what we call a punching bag. And Floyd's going to come in, still with the head movement. He's going to tap him. He's going to put those hands up. Floyd's going to tap him. Psychological warfare. Tap him, bang! Tap him, bang! Tap him, and then come down like this, come back up, bang! And that's what Floyd's going to do to him. It's psychological warfare. But is it going to take a toll on Floyd? Yes. Because when there's a 50-pound gap, it's brutal. But here's what most people don't understand. If you're a boxer, you didn't fought people who are 50 pounds heavier. If you watch my footage, you'll see me fighting a guy who is 240, 250. Huh? So, I mean, I fought guys who have 70, 80 pounds on me. It's just how it is in the gym. And Floyd's been in the doghouse. He's been in brutal gyms. He's been in sparring wars, so they know what they're doing. And this is just going to add another feather into Floyd's cap. So it'll be a good fight. The only thing is if Floyd gets caught when he's not ready, bang! He's going to be wobbled because there's going to be a lot of weight behind the punch. But here's the thing. Floyd's only been hit 3 times hard. He's only been hit hard 3 times in his whole career out of 50 fights. So I think he'll be okay. Experience, you know, you can't fabricate decades of boxing experience. There's nothing that can replace that. There's nothing that can accelerate that. So Floyd doesn't have a lot to worry about. And the check looks right too. So I think Floyd will be good to go. If I had to bet money, I'd bet money on Floyd. But here's the thing. The odds are terrible if you bet for Floyd. I think you got to bet like $5,000 to win 100.
It might have even been 6,000.
It might have been $6,000 to win 100. That's how much the bookmakers who know boxing know that Floyd can't lose.
Okay, we did have one of the ladies ask if the conference is for men only.
No, the conference is not for men only. Nothing we do is for men only. The way we've started has been oriented on the male. But we don't do anything men only because the female is half of the society. The female is half of a man's success. The female is half of a man's fortune. So we definitely invite the lady saints to come through. And I've even considered having them do a panel. So absolutely, you're invited. Thesassin.com/conference to get your ticket.
Okay, there's one more donation. Frederick Mondragon said, much respect to the Sassin Nation. Definitely something I can stand behind. Keep it up, Saints.
Appreciate it. Peace to the saint. Absolutely, man. And I love when I go and I'm being hosted on someone else's platform and all the saints pull up talking about peace to the assassin. Get it. Absolutely. I love to see that. Our level of camaraderie is just, it's unique and remarkable in this sphere of online weirdos who are trying to aggrandize themselves and make themselves famous. Whereas we're really just working on building a community of people who know how to live righteously, contribute to one another, and be happy and thrive in the world. So absolutely, peace to the saint.
Okay, we're done with super chats.
Absolutely. Okay, cool. Well, hey, saints, I appreciate you guys tuning in per usual. I just wanted to take out this time to speak on leadership and mindset. And
Someone did just say conference date question mark real quick.
conference date, January 30, 31st. It's creeping up on us. It's an exciting time. We're going to make sure we get video footage for everyone who has a ticket. You'll have photos to take home because we're going to document this whole thing. You'll have video footage afterward. We'll send it to you if you have a ticket. It'll be a good time. And the reason we're recording it is because the lessons you're getting, you'll be able to rewatch them and use the knowledge over a lifetime, you know, and the fun. You know, you're going to want to remember this. It'll be, for some people, you know, maybe the highlight of the last couple years, because when's the last time you got to hang out with 300 close friends, right? When was the last time you got to go to Las Vegas, the Strip, and be there with 300 people that you all have something in common with? This is going to be a good time.
We have a couple super chats that just came in. First one is Try Savvy. They said, Marquett, with your diverse business experience, we're down, okay, sorry. You recommend growing a business or not based on character, extroverted, introverted, strengths, weaknesses, or believe anyone could do any kind of biz?
The key to anything in life is knowing how, not how to do it, but how you can do it. An extroverted CEO and an introverted CEO, they just operate in two different ways. For example, if you have a product that needs to be sold and you're an introverted CEO, then you know it's wise to hire a director of business development who's extroverted, has great people skills, maybe is a woman, whatever you need to balance you out. A CEO, aka a leader, is not the best at everything, but they know how to source the talent that can get the job done. I highly recommend business for everyone.
Juji Lee said, when are you doing, she donated and said, when are you doing a Lady Saint video?
Good question. I got about 3 more topics that are set up, and if she's talking about Lady Saint videos that are going on the Lady Saints YouTube, that's one thing. But I got 3 videos lined up that are going to go exclusive on thesassin.com for the Lady Saints who are subscribing. So that's kind of the priority, and that's mostly where I post the women's content. I kind of forgot about the other Lady Saints channel, the public one, but we'll get some stuff on there. But I always prioritize my people who are showing me love. So I got 3 videos.
She said she is, so I think she is a Lady Saint on
the Sassin.
On the Sassin.
Excellent. I got 3 videos queued up that are going to come for you, talking about what is femininity, you know, how can a professional woman be a good spouse. These are the kind of topics we're talking about that are making sense for how you're really living your life, because, you know, I don't want to pretend as though women are not coming to a relationship already having lived independently, they got their careers. Well, the question is, how do you take your assets and apply that to a good man? And so we're talking about all kinds of things like that. And also, I want to encourage you, love, if you really want to mess with this movement, you know, go to contact on thesassin.com. Let us know. We'll have guys reach out to you and kind of get you deeper involved.
Okay, one more donation. Rockstar Tony said, would you suggest I rent a crib in my hood for cheaper price or roommate with some college guys downtown Columbus in a better area but higher pricing?
Well, it depends on his goals. So for me, at my stage in life, I'd rather pay more to live in a very nice place, because I don't like to be around broke people. They make me sick. You know, like, I don't like to be around people in need. I like to be around abundance. So I'd rather pay extra money to be around people who are abundant, because that's good networking. That's good connections and introductions. So that's my mindset. Another thing is that if you're in poverty or around a lower class environment, there's more violence, there's more risk, there's theft. For example, no lie. You know, Bridget and I would drive to the Panera to do some work. We park the Rolls right in front of the Panera, just leave the windows down, leave the car unlocked. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong.
We don't care. Why don't we care? Because if you park the Rolls next to a Bentley, next to a Mercedes, that's next to a Jaguar, ain't nobody worried about you. Like, you don't even stand out. And that's what I think is the key, is positioning. Put yourself in the best position for success. You can never invest too much in yourself.
Okay, I believe we have all the super chats and your phone is on its last.
On its last,
yeah.
right? Okay. Well, hey, Saints, listen up. We're going to end this the way we always end this, which is with the creed of assassin. Repeat this with full conviction wherever you are, and this is true of you. The creed of assassin. I am going to be who I truly am because I am remarkable. I'm going to strive every moment to show the greatest part of who I am.